Previously on The Murder Game, a group of amateur investigators tried to solve a fictional murder in order to win a £25,000 reward. The killer is one of 7 remaining suspects. Each one is played by an actor. Samantha is the latest investigator to be eliminated from the game by the killer, and with 3 female investigators now dead, the atmosphere at HQ has changed dramatically.
It's got to the point now where you don't even walk into a room where you know some people are going to be in it because of the atmosphere.
I'm feeling that the game's changed. I'm feeling that it's now a personal thing. I'm feeling that I should watch my back. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a game, so let the games begin.
Vital clues in the case have recently been uncovered, including the murder weapon, a pair of navigational dividers. The blood-stained coat found nearby points the finger at Tina Wells, the vicar's wife, and the press conference brings fresh witnesses who claim they saw the victim just hours before her death. It's 10:02 and the next stage of the murder game begins. 7 investigators remain. They're all chasing the reward of £25,000. Mervyn was last week's lead investigator. His vote sent Samantha out to face the killer. Real-life detective Bob Taylor begins the morning briefing by showing her last will and testament.
As the next lead investigator, I would like to choose Melanie Scythe. She's really got her teeth into this case, and if anyone's going to go on and stand a chance, I hope it's going to be Mel, and I think she deserves longer in the house. I feel quite angry because of being voted out tonight. I don't believe it was on my ability as an investigator. I believe it was quite personal.
As Mel takes her seat as lead investigator, Mervyn defends his decision.
I based my decision purely on the facts that were in front of me. I looked at the investigation as a whole, and that's why I based my decision.
Personally, I do think that it was a wrong decision. I don't think Sam was the weakest person in the group, and no offence to Mervyn, but I do think the reason you did choose wasn't a well-grounded reason.
I think it's his decision. He should be allowed to make whatever he wants.
Right, down to business. Andrew survived the killer's game and brought back another killer clue. The killer clue seems to point towards a birth. Whose?
At the moment, we're all looking at Catherine's birth. We do think that there might be something to do with that.
Next up is the murder weapon. Forensics have now confirmed the killer stabbed Catherine prior to death with a pair of navigational dividers.
Who do you think that points you towards?
We saw from the photographs of Jay Wilmingson's boat that he had a chart table with a number of navigational charts spread out, and he also had a set of parallel rulers on top, and parallel rulers are always associated with dividers.
So Jay Wilmington should have a pair of navigational dividers.
Another piece of evidence linked to the murder is the blood-stained coat.
We think the coat is Tina's. We don't know for sure, so what's your theory on the coat then?
It was used to wrap the murder weapon to take away from the scene of the crime, and the coat was either belonging to the murderer or was stolen from one of the other suspects and used to maybe frame someone as to be the murderer.
What leads you to believe that that could be Tina Wells' coat?
In one of the pockets we found a wedding invitation addressed to the Reverend and Mrs. Wells.
Right. So the first line of inquiry will be to go and see Tina Wells, ask her about the blood-stained Mac.
As lead investigator, it's Mel's responsibility to pick the teams for the lines of inquiry.
I need 2 people in team 1.
That's going to be Meryl and Nick.
The second line of inquiry is to follow up on the witnesses who came forward following the press conference and take detailed statements.
Now, I've taken a look at these. There are 3 particular witnesses who all say they saw Catherine at the same time, but in different places. So only one of them can actually be right. I need 2 people in team 2.
That's going to be Richard and Rory.
Richard and Rory, you are team 2. The third line of inquiry will be to go and see Jay Wilmington. Take the navigational dividers and see what he can tell you about them. The remaining 2 people will be team 3, which is Mervyn and Andrew. Remember your training. You might be amateurs, but you've been trained as professionals. Suspect everyone. Trust no one.
The house today, I feel there's one or two little tensions coming in.
The whole cause of the awkwardness is because Mervyn has split the house up. They've got their own little personal jokes going, and it does feel like they're taking the piss out of me behind my back, which I don't like at all.
The three teams head out on their lines of inquiry. There are hidden tests ahead, which they must all pass if they stand a chance of staying in the game. Andrew and Mervyn are off to find out if Jay Wilmington knows anything about the navigational dividers. But to pass their line of inquiry, will they remember not to leak any information about the murder weapon to the suspect?
Morning, Jay.
How you doing?
Oh, thanks.
We've met before. I'm Investigator Weaver.
See you again.
Hello,
What's your step, yeah?
And that's Investigator Merchant.
Nice to meet you, hello.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Jay, I wonder if you can help us. I'm not too sure what this is.
Yeah.
I've never seen one before. I know you haven't seen one before.
Right.
Could you just give us a hand with that? Tell us what that might be.
All right, yeah. Where did you find these?
All I can say to you at the moment is a piece of evidence that we have in our possession.
Right.
Really, if you could just maybe give us an idea of what it is and what it's used for.
Yeah, they're navigational dividers. They're actually mine. I recognise that chink in it.
You're chinking it, so it's
Yeah,
yours.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Where would they normally be kept?
Well, I keep them wherever I keep my maps.
With your maps?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be on board your.
Yeah, it'd be either in the saloon or it'd be in the wheelhouse.
Okay. When was the last time you saw this?
Well, I've actually haven't seen them for a couple of days.
For a couple of
Yeah,
days.
so I just thought maybe I've misplaced them or something.
So you thought you'd misplaced them?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. So you can't say where you found them?
As I said before, it's within our possession, but we can't actually divulge any information at all at this stage anyway.
Okay.
Yeah?
Have these always been yours, Jay?
Yeah, I wouldn't take them off my boat, so... I mean,
You wouldn't take them off your
No,
boat at all?
no.
So they'd always be with your map?
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
Okay, well, cheers.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
time.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
Take care, cheers.
You right there, Weaver? It's nothing like getting a job done.
Team 1's line of inquiry is to find out if the bloodstained coat belongs to Tina Wells. As the murder inquiry progresses, Meryl and Nick are becoming more and more absorbed in their roles as investigators.
God, yes. Maybe jump. I think we're turning into the Junkers crowd.
We really are. I see a police car and I think, is it something to do with us?
The bits I find difficult on lines of inquiry is confrontation with people. Like I seem to be the only one who's dealt with Tina Wells at the moment, and she's always terribly hyper, and I'm always having to calm her down for one reason or another. I find, I keep thinking, oh, that wretched woman.
Team 1's hidden test is to follow up on anything suspicious during the conversation. But will Tina give them the chance to question her?
I thought of something, and I don't know if it's going to be any use. It was Catherine. She said to me that it was about a few weeks before she died that she'd, the Wilmington house.
Yes.
She'd gone into there in Creeksea, and she'd broken in, and she said she'd gone up some stairs onto I think it was the first floor, up a corridor, and that there was a room there. It was Alice's room. Alice's room. I don't know who Alice is, and she said that she'd gone into this room and that there was something that she'd found in this room, and she just said that it was going to change everything. Sorry, excuse me. Hello? Hello?
Have you been getting some calls? You sound as if you've been getting
I've had a
some
few
calls.
calls. I've just had a few at home and on my mobile. Look, can I go? I've really got to go.
A red coat has come into our inquiry. We don't know if it has any significance at all, but you don't know anybody who has a red coat or...
I've got a red coat.
You've got a red coat.
I've got a red coat.
Is it a short sort of Macintosh coat?
Well, it's just a coat that I keep in the vestry in the church. I mean, I don't use it very much.
When did you last use it? Can you remember when you last used it?
No, I can't remember. Look, I'm sorry, can I go?
You
'Cause
always
I've really
just
got to
keep it
pick up
in
this
the vestry.
prescription.
All right,
just
well,
keep
thank
it in the
you.
vestry, it's
Okay.
still there.
We'll get in touch with you, Mrs. Wells.
Well done.
Richard and Rory are off to interview the 3 witnesses who say they saw Catherine Pryor on the morning of her murder. Their task is to determine which is the correct statement and give reasons why the other 2 are wrong. To do this, they can draw on evidence gathered from Dean's wedding video and the pathologist's findings.
Height 1.57 metres, weight 62 kilos. The deceased was wearing contact lenses and the clothing was heavily bloodstained.
She's fine.
Zoe Richards is the first witness to arrive at the investigators' mobile incident room.
Thanks for coming along.
How you doing?
Special Investigators Richard Sharrocks and Rory McNally.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Sorry, just take your name?
Yeah, Zoe.
Thank you. Take the seat, please. As you can appreciate, we're trying to piece together the last movements of Catherine before she was murdered. So what we'd like to do is just you to tell us what you've got that you think is relevant.
Well, I work in the supermarket right near Morden High Street, and day that she was murdered, she came into the shop, and I actually served her. And I was working on the 10 items only till, and she came in and bought, she had more than 10 items, and she was there forever, and I'm sure the woman that I served was Catherine.
Can you tell us if Catherine was carrying anything?
She had a bag that she must have, yeah, because she had a cheque, she brought out her chequebook to sign the cheque, and she had this gold pen she was signing with her right hand and her big fancy writing. Then she couldn't find her cash card, so she was rooting down her bag, holding the queue up even more. Is that of any help?
Yeah, it is. Fantastic. It's all really good. Anything else you think that might...
So as I say, that's all I just know, that I did see her and that I served her that day.
The second witness who believes she has relevant information about the murder victim is Mary Jane Thornton.
Monday, and I was I just stopped at a newsagent's, and when I was outside there was a woman that fitted that description. I went to get my glasses out, and she went to get her glasses at the same time, and we just had a sort of joke about glasses at the same time, about being a bit short-sighted and getting old. It was a bit of a sad conversation.
So she put her glasses on to
yeah, she'd put some on, and we just had that kind of momentary laugh. And she was so similar to the murder victim, which is awful.
The third and final witness who claims to have seen Catherine Pryor just hours before her murder is Edward Green.
Well, the whole thing really relies on Jim. Jim, my next door neighbour. I went for a walk because he's drilling. It was just driving me mad. So I went out about, 11:30, I suppose. I always phone my sister Alison. She lives in Ipswich. I always phone her at lunchtime. But the phone box, that was occupied. Guy in there with a brown check shirt. I recognised the shirt because I had one given to me at Christmas like that. So anyway, because he was in there, I went to the local shop to get my lottery ticket. I play Thunderball. Anyway, when I came back, the box was empty, so I phoned Alison. We chatted for about 10 minutes, and then I went back. Anyway, then I took the shopping to Mum's, and of course Mother said the usual thing. I see you still had your hair cut. She goes on about my hair. I mean, seriously, do you think I've got long hair?
No, not at all.
I hadn't, have I? So that was the usual thing, and we chatted, I suppose, for a few minutes, and I looked at my watch and said, Mother, time, I must go. And she said, yes, I've got plenty to do myself. And that is when the door slammed of this car that I saw outside, and that's when I saw the girl. And she was obviously having words with this woman, and I guess that's why she got out of the car and slammed the door.
Can you tell us where this car was?
Really just to one side of All Saints Church. It was L registration.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that because my middle name is Leslie.
Right.
Have you got the colour of the car?
Navy blue.
Navy blue. You don't know what make it was, sorry.
Yeah, it was a Volvo.
A Volvo?
A Volvo.
Thank you.
Volvo Estate.
You say it was a lady driving?
It was a lady driving.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I suppose she was, 45? Dark hair. She had a sort of swept up thing, like Princess Di used to use her hair, and she had that sort of swept up thing. This woman had the same thing.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Edward. All right, thank you. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, have you got anything else you wanted to add at all?
No, you should wear your hair longer.
I should do, yes, I know.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
(1545). The day's lines of inquiry are now complete. Richard and Rory have already disproved the witness who claimed they saw Catherine outside a newsagent's wearing glasses. Pathology reports show she wore permanent contact lenses. With Dean's wedding video, they check the statement that a right-handed woman resembling Catherine was seen in a local supermarket.
Left-handed, definitely.
I think I should be an investigator, personally.
You?
Yeah. So if we get told by the chief that we failed, we got it, we spotted it. Team 2 spotted it.
1920. It's dinner time at HQ, and the atmosphere could be cut with a knife. Andrew does his best to lighten the mood.
What would you like to do if you had the choice? Everybody around the table. What would you really like to do? Like, not a silly job like.
I'd like to be a porno star.
Yeah, I said not a silly job.
Nah, I don't know really.
I'm going to be a pop star.
We haven't heard you sing at all, Mel. What group? You mean?
Because I can't, but...
But it don't matter, does it?
It doesn't
I had ideas about being an auctioneer at one stage. Lot one.
Right, go for it.
One Tesco orange squash. Any bid? Do I see 5, 5, 6 on bid on the left hand side, 6 on bid? Do I see 7? I had 6 on the left. Do I see 7, 7 on bid? First blood at 8. Do I see 9? Everyone here. Do I see 10 on bid? At 10 do I see anyone? Yes or no? Bang!
What have you done?
I'm embarrassed now. I got to say that. I'm embarrassed.
Hello, incident room.
Hello, is that the investigators?
Yes, it is.
Hello, it's Tina Wells here at the vicarage.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Wells. How can I help?
I've just been outside to put my rubbish out, and over in the graveyard, I heard something, and
As a frightened Tina Wells reports a disturbance in the graveyard, Meryl and Nick are sent out into the darkness to investigate.
Got your camera and your phone. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck.
Be careful out there.
It's a jungle. It's a murder scene.
Nervous about what they might find when they arrive, neither Meryl or Nick is looking forward to seeing Tina twice in one day.
Mrs. Wells, hello.
thank you for coming.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah, it was... Do you want to follow me? I was putting my rubbish in the bin, and there was all this noise over there.
She's Catherine.
Look, it's here.
Catherine Pryor's funeral will take place the following day, but Tina shows Meryl and Nick her grave has mysteriously been filled.
All right, now don't go anywhere near it. Please,
This is where...
please don't go near it, Mrs. You must understand that we must find anything we can to help find Catherine's killer. Now, would you like to go back to the rectory? No.
While Tina Wells heads back to safety, Meryl and Nick find themselves alone with only one option.
We need to find out what's going on in this grave. We'll just get digging.
You know, earlier on tonight we were talking about dream jobs. I don't think this is mine. Oh, I hope we don't find a bit of Christine.
Oh, don't. Hello? Hello?
I don't like this.
Meryl? Oh. Hello, who's there?
Hello?
There is someone there, isn't there?
Two people. 8:30 at night. Dark, digging in the graveyard.
That's not on.
This isn't normal, is it?
It's really unfair. I feel like those crooks who used to dig up bodies in the dead of night. Oh.
It is literally that, just dig till we find.
Oh, I haven't perspired as much as this for a long time. Spooky or what? I believe in ghosts, you know.
It's not the time to tell me that.
With Meryl busy grave digging, Mel must begin her first case conference as lead investigator without her only female ally.
Right, well, good evening, boys and boys. Not many girls left now. I'd like to say thank you very much for making my first day as lead investigator so much fun. Okay, who is your prime suspect right at this moment? That question goes to Andrew.
Don't laugh when you say my name. I think it's a man. Which man, I don't know. I think it's more of a man-type murder.
Okay.
It's a man thing here as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There must be something here. Oh, hell's bells, it couldn't be more difficult, could it? God, I hope it's nothing that makes me scream, because I will, you know.
No, perhaps start chucking it behind, because it's starting to tumble in
I
there.
know. It's... Oh.
Oh. No, there's something there.
And news pictures of Catherine. Anybody else got anything on that? Okay, does anybody have anything to ask at this moment in time? Okay.
(22:31). Meryl has now spent 2 hours removing over a ton of soil from the burial plot, almost single-handedly.
Oh, bugger. I mean, Charlie, what the hell is it?
It seems to be like a lid.
Oh, the earth is so compacted round it. He must have trampled on it.
It's tight, isn't it? Oh, it's coming there.
I know it is.
Oh, yes. It's coming.
I know it is, but it's scaring me to death, this.
What is it? Can you
see?
Photo album, that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know which one's getting up my nose the most, to be quite honest.
I don't know about what's his name too much, Nick, because he doesn't say much.
No, Nick's all right, I think.
Nick, I think's all right, but you can't trust anybody.
No, you can't trust anybody, but out of
they all sicken me. Because you can see the faces they're putting on and stuff, you can tell what's going on in their minds.
Oh, I can't. Oh. No, I could.
Let's have a look what we got. It's nice, isn't it?
It is. That is going to tell us family history.
Well done.
God, I'm glad I'm not a glamour puss.
2 3/4 hours after their search began, Meryl and Nick call back to HQ with news of the photo album they've discovered.
A buck? Okay. Alright, I'll see you when you get here then. Okay, bye. 4 feet down and they found what they were looking for. A buck. He says they bagged it and they'll bring it over.
Five to midnight. When the investigators awake, it will be the day of Catherine Pryor's funeral. Who was the woman that witness Edward Green saw driving Catherine to the church on the morning of her murder? What was the secret that Catherine found at Creeksea that, according to Tina Wells, changed her life forever? And will the answers to these questions bring the investigators any closer to finding the killer? Next morning, the chief begins by discussing the photo album Nick and Merrill unearthed from the grave. Forensics have returned the photographs. Firstly, a print from the 1930s of a picnic held at Creeksea. This is where suspect Jennifer Wilmington lives with husband Tony and his sister Felicity. Secondly, Polaroids with locations for the next killer's game. Two investigators will soon be heading to the old hospital and the fortress. One will return with a clue, one will not come back. The chief then asks Richard and Rory which one of the previous day's witnesses they believe saw Catherine on the morning of her murder.
We believe Edward Green is the correct statement.
Well done.
By proving that Edward Green's sighting of Catherine was accurate, the investigators now have a new lead.
Actually, I can even tell you something about the car. It was a Volvo. A Volvo? A Volvo. Thank you. Volvo Estate.
Who was driving that car?
Well, last time we were up in Jennifer Wilmington's house, she told us that she drove a Volvo Estate.
Right. Catherine Pryor's funeral will take place this afternoon. Team 2, Rory, Richard, I want you to go to the burial. Find a moment and speak to Jennifer. Confront her with the witness statement. Team 1, I want you to go to the wake. Observe the suspects. Keep your eyes and ears open. Right, Team 3, I've got a special job for you. I want you to go to Creeksea. I want you to see if you can find what Catherine discovered in Alice's room. Now, I doubt Jennifer would ever let you in, but she's going to be at the funeral. So you have a chance that Felicity will let you into the house. Without fail, you have to get into that locked room. You have to find that hidden secret.
13:05, the Pryor family head off to the private service in memory of Catherine. All 7 remaining suspects are expected to attend.
Today's the day of the funeral, and I think a lot of sensitivity is required.
See that hat, that blue hat? She opens the door, go to the side, quickly pull the hat down. She's not going to see a thing, then we run in.
I mean, we've got Mervyn and Andrew, who are going to be at the Wilmington house at the time of the funeral, and we don't want them to be disturbed by any of the Wilmingtons coming back home. So today's the first day when I think it's crucial that we work as a big team.
See you guys later.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Andrew and Mervyn head off for Creeksea. Whilst Jennifer and Tony Wilmington attend the funeral, Felicity, who suffers from agoraphobia, has stayed behind alone.
Because she's an agoraphobic, she's not going to want to open the door.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which will be size 9 and size whatever, 6, straight in that door. Size 4, straight in that door. Should be flying backwards. Freeze! Investigators! Don't move!
If Andrew and Mervyn are allowed into Creeksea, they must persuade Felicity to let them into Alice's room up on the first floor.
When you go out to interview suspects, because you've had so much to do with them and you've been looking at them on the screens for a long time, you feel that you know them, you feel they are real, and when you confront them, the game thing actually goes away. And then you look at them as a real suspect to do with the case.
Their line of inquiry is to unearth the secret which Catherine found. She claimed it changed everything. As always, there's a hidden test. Andrew and Mervyn must remember their training and act accordingly in order to pass.
Hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
It's Investigator Weaver and Merchant, Felicity.
I called on you the other day. We were just passing. We'd just like to have a word. Could you let us in, please?
That's right. Oh, oh.
It's very stiff. Could you give it a push?
Yeah, sure. Oh dear, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all
Lovely
right.
to be inside.
I'm sure it is. If you'd like to come and sit over here for a minute.
Team 2 are on their way to Catherine Pryor's funeral. Their line of inquiry is to confront Jennifer Wilmington with the witness's statement that she dropped Catherine off at the church on the morning of her murder. The remaining suspects are all present, including Dean, who's recently been discharged from the hospital following his overdose. Richard and Rory also face a hidden test. In order to pass, they must follow appropriate procedure and react accordingly.
What is it that you want?
There's some certain facts have actually come to light to do with Alice's room.
Just really need to hopefully clear up a few things. If we could just go into the room and just have a look around the room.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm assure you he won't be very long and he won't touch or disturb anything whatsoever.
Where would you normally keep the keys if the room was locked?
I'm not sure where the key is.
And so it has pleased Almighty God to take unto himself the soul of our dear sister, Catherine Pryor, here departed. We therefore commit her body to be consumed by the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, in the sure and certain hope of the resurrection to eternal life, through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
No. No. Did I put it in here? See? Isn't it beautiful? It's a peacock. Like the one in my mother's necklace.
May I just take that now and then go to the room, please, Felicity?
And we'll bring it back down to you in a moment.
Okay,
Thank you very much indeed. You done this chest?
Yeah, I've done that chest.
I'm sorry to inconvenience obviously at this time. Just wondering if we could have a quick word with you.
Yes, of course.
Obviously, we're just still trying to clear up a few of Catherine's last movements.
Yes.
We've had an eyewitness. We've had an eyewitness who stated that a lady in their matching your description in a dark blue Volvo Estate, an L-Reg, actually dropped Catherine off outside the church.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, should we?
I was embarrassed.
Sorry, could we just sorry, I just wondered if we could have this word privately.
Yes, sure. Well, I was embarrassed because I didn't want to say anything. I was in a car. I picked her up on the road and I gave her a lift. I didn't say anything because I was embarrassed because we had a row on the way to the church.
What was you rowing about?
About the music. I mean, it sounds ridiculous now, but we were actually rowing about the music, like what she was going to play at the wedding.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible because that was the last time I saw her. Excuse me. Hello.
Oh, Jennifer!
Hello. Is it Felicity?
And I don't know what to do.
Well, what's happened?
Those people. They've come back.
Where are they?
They're in the house.
What are they doing there? Look, don't panic. Stay there. I'm on my way.
What have I done?
I'm on my way, Felicity. Don't panic. Bye, Trevor.
Jennifer!
Ridiculous. What do they think they're doing? Let's just get back there as soon as we can.
Why was she? Something had changed her life. Something had changed her life.
What a pain to be on the fucking phone with.
Behind. Is that a secret door?
I mean, poor Felicity. She's in a dreadful state on the
Phone Mel.
Better not be there when we get back, or there's going to be hell to pay.
Oh Christ, there's a baby, a dead baby.
That's it.
Okay, let's get out of there.
What's that?
We've got to close that door so no one knows you've been in there.
Light.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Hello, Felicity.
Hello, incident room.
Mel, it's Roy here at the graveyard. Jennifer Wilmington has now left and she's on her way back to the house because Felicity has phoned her and said that the lads are there.
We've finished our inquiries now. Thank you very much for your help.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, we may call on you shortly or may not, who knows.
Oh, right.
Let's do this, I want to be out of there.
Felicity!
Do you like the way I found the secret door, my son?
Felicity!
I think we did all right there.
Yeah, we didn't give anything away. We just said it's part of the investigation. It's the name that's come
I mean,
up.
I was trying to win her over as trying to
You was charming.
pull her, trying to get her.
You was charming a clossy bag off her hip, you was.
As Mervyn and Andrew head back to headquarters, Meryl and Nick arrive at the wake. Their brief is to observe all the suspects and gather any information which might be relevant to the investigation.
How are things going?
Well, slowly but hopefully, surely. You know, we have a lot of work to do, obviously, but we should get to the bottom of this. I do hope so.
It's not a hard day, isn't it?
A really difficult day. Yeah, really difficult.
Shortly after they arrive, Tina and Vanessa approached them with some vital information.
And I've just been talking to Anya, and she told me like that her father used to be violent towards Catherine.
Who's her father?
I don't know. Anya doesn't.
I don't know who the father is. She never told me. It just seems a bit of a coincidence that she was frightened of whoever the father was, and now she's been murdered. I mean, just before she died, right, she was seeing Dean Garrity, okay? And not only was he seeing Catherine, he was also stringing along Vanessa, you know, and I mean, I don't think that's very trustworthy, really.
Secret door, secret room. Oh, we went in now. There's a bird cage and a cupboard and something else right in front of this door. And you look, it's wooden panels on the wall. So I'm looking across the wooden panels and I noticed that there was a slight opening. And so I ran my finger up it, found a corner, pulled it and it came open. I said, well, move this stuff out of the way. Andy gave me a hand, moved the cage out of the way, opened it, and I looked up and I saw the body. I said, pass the camera. And that was it. I sense that there's something that's bothering Mel at the moment.
I wanted Mervyn to fail, I'll say it.
Maybe she needs to get over it or deal with it. But there's something bothering her, and I think that may be clouding her opinion of how she's doing her job.
2103. Mel is chairing the nightly case conference.
Right. Hello everyone. I just want to say everyone's done fantastic today. Some really good breakthroughs, especially from one of the teams. I feel like I'm getting no respect whatsoever as team leader.
I think that room was a shrine and there was a collection of things in that room.
Okay,
You've got a birth certificate that was never filled in.
I did feel like an idiot up there. It was like I might as well have been talking to myself. Maybe
Could
Jennifer.
lose your parents, that could be shock and trauma. Yeah.
Maybe if
you're looking at all
Felicity.
do you know what I mean? Areas of shock and trauma.
What about if it is? I thought that maybe Jennifer.
Was a girl, like.
Yeah. Okay, you've got.
I don't think. Yeah, I think the birth certificate. I think. Just sorry to cut you in there, but I think the birth certificate. I think the relevance of the.
I feel totally out of place. It's not like what it used to be. I absolutely hate it at the moment.
Into little things. I think it's the birth.
It's 22:28. Mervyn chats to Rory and Andrew about Meryl and Mel.
Was you here when me and Andy come back with our good news? She didn't even respond once. Mm-hmm. And then when old fucking Sour Grapes comes back with Nick, it's oh good work. Oh, good, lovely. Oh, good work. Ah, good work. Ah, great, good work. And then when we sat at the table, ah, good work. Ah, good
work. We need to get rid of a man.
Yeah. The thing is that if I put up for eviction, the person I'm thinking of putting up, and that person comes back, they're going to try and get rid of me.
By definition, it has to get sort of nasty, doesn't it?
The chief arrives for the final briefing, where he will pass or fail the investigators on their work over the past 2 days. But first, there is important news.
Following the discovery of the mummified infant at Creeksea Place, the house has been declared a crime scene. The officers I sent down have been hard at work sealing off Creeksea Place, and forensics are examining the scene. The house is definitely out of bounds at the moment.
It's time for the chief to pass or fail the teams on their lines of inquiry. Those investigators who fail will be up for the vote as individuals to go and play the killer's game.
Team 1, Meryl and Nick. On day 1, you went to see Tina Wells. You asked her about the red Macintosh which was found covered in Catherine Pryor's blood. She told you that Catherine had recently discovered a life-changing secret. At Creeksea Place, this led to the discovery by Team 3 of the dead infant. You also picked up on a phone call while you were there, and you questioned Tina about it. This might be significant later. That was good work. So Meryl, Nick, I am passing you on your lines of inquiry, and you will not be up for the group vote tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
Meryl, once again over the last 2 days, you have shown your worth as an investigator. You have done well.
Thank you, Chief.
I'd like to know who dug the majority of the soil out of the grave.
It was
Mary.
very no. It was equal. We took
I
it in
did the
shifts.
top, she did the.
We did
the hand
shifts.
digging.
Shifts.
I understand you did most of the donkey work, Meryl, while Nick supervised.
I didn't. Honestly, I feel we did half and half. I did a lot of scrabbling at the bottom, but we did most of the digging in shifts.
Right. Let's move on to team 2. Richard, Rory, let's talk about your lines of inquiry. On day 1, you interviewed 3 members of the public. Only one of the statements could have proved to be correct. You deduced which one was correct, and you worked out that Catherine had been given a lift on the morning of her murder in a dark blue Volvo. So on day 2, you attended Catherine's burial. And when you were there, you confronted Jennifer Wilmington with the statement. While you were quizzing Jennifer, what happened?
Telephone rang.
You realised the importance of that conversation. You knew it was important to alert Team 3 at Creeksea. That was good work. So Richard, Rory, I am passing you on your lines of inquiry, and neither of you will be up for the group vote tonight. Well done. Team 3, Mervyn, Andrew, let's look at your inquiry over the past 2 days. On day 1, you went to ask Jay Wilmington about the navigational dividers. Jay admitted they were his. He quizzed you about where you had found them. What did you say?
We withheld that evidence, Chief.
You did right not to disclose that. Let's take a look at day 2. Your line of inquiry was to go to Creeksea Place, discover Catherine's secret. Let's take a look.
Oh Christ, it's a baby, a dead baby.
That's it.
Okay, let's get out of here.
What's that?
We'll close that door so no one knows you've been in it.
Who taught you at training school that when you found a dead body, you ran off? What should you have done?
Cordoned off the room, Chief.
What was it?
Crime scene, Chief.
What is the first rule of training?
Isolate the crime scene if you discover one, Chief.
Why do we isolate the crime scene?
Contaminate the crime.
So no one else can tamper with it. Because after you left, Jennifer, if she knew about that, could have removed all the evidence, and your photographs would have been worthless. What have you got to say for yourselves? Andrew?
I think we failed, Chief.
The finest piece of detective work you've done this week.
I agree with that, Chief.
So Andrew and Mervyn, I have no choice. I am failing you on your lines of inquiry. You will both be up for the vote for the killer's game, and one of you may have to face the killer. It's time for everybody, apart from the lead investigator, to cast their vote. You can only vote for Andrew and Mervyn because they failed their lines of inquiry. You have 1 minute to think about your decision. Then make your way one by one to the voting room.
2 investigators must go out to play the killer's game. Only one will return. The vote to decide the first person is held in secret. Last time, Samantha and Andrew were chosen. Andrew survived his second killer's game in a row. Will he be sent out for a third time?
Meryl, who are you voting for tonight and why?
I think I have to be consistent and vote for Andrew again.
Anything else you want to add, Meryl?
No, except I don't like being teacher's pet. It worries me because I'll be very unpopular. But thank you for your praise, Chief. It's done me a lot of good.
That's okay, Meryl.
I'm voting for Andy. He has got some good thoughts, but he doesn't seem to be getting too involved within the game itself.
I'm going to vote for Andy because I think he would want me to vote for him, and I think he's the weakest in the two of them that's failed.
Tonight, my choice has to be Mervyn.
I'd like to vote for myself, but I know that's not possible. And as I can only vote for a team that's failed, it's my team that has failed. So I am voting for Andy because he's let me down.
I'm voting for Mervyn, Chief, because he's the only one I can vote for.
You think Mervyn's let the team down and you down?
No, Chief. I think most people down there in our situation may have done the same thing, because at the back of our mind was that the Wilmingtons were coming home at any minute from the funeral, and we wanted to get in and out before there was some sort of confrontation. But we made a mistake, Chief, and hold our hands up.
Anything else, Andrew?
I do not want to come back. That's absolutely definite. I feel if I do, I will be depressed. And I think the group, without Rory and Mervyn's togetherness, they will become depressed. I don't want that to happen. And also, Chief, the main reason is on investigator skills. Out of 10, I put myself at 4, 5. I think Mervyn is at least 7.5 to 8, so that would benefit the group.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Pleasure.
The first person to play the killer's game tonight will be Andrew. The second person will be chosen by the lead investigator. Mel, you have been the lead investigator over the last 2 days. You must be pleased with the performance of the 3 teams.
Very, yeah. They've all done really well. It's been a hard decision. I do want to point out to everyone that you've all worked so fantastically well this week, and we've come up with so much information, and it has been really hard to pick between 6 fantastic investigators. I'm really proud of you all.
Mel, you've led the team well. It's now time to choose. Will you stand at the front and tell the group who you are choosing as the second person to play the killer's game tonight?
Okay, like I say, it's been very difficult, and I think I'm not alone in this, but it has been noticed that this person has been distant lately from the rest of the group, resulting in awkwardness and us not working as a team very well at the moment. I've noticed also that this person has made a few bad decisions in the past and hasn't taken responsibility for them, so I'm really sorry, but Mervyn, you will be playing the killer's game tonight.
Thank you.
As an investigator.
Andrew and Mervyn must now choose their killer game locations from 2 sealed brown envelopes. The lethal location is predetermined and locked in a safe. The chief has no idea where the killer will be waiting.
Please stand and reveal the locations you are being sent to.
The fortress.
Mervyn, the fortress.
The hospital, Chief.
Andrew, the old hospital. Good luck. I really think you're going to need it.
It's about time we lost a chap. I mean, the girls have been dropping like flies.
I'm going to beat you tonight, we're so...
Oh, no, I'm going to beat you.
Hey lads, we bit of a group hug here now, just before we go here.
Derby Star.
We see one another again
I
shortly.
will too, alright?
Mervyn and Andrew travel separately to their killer game locations, where they must search for a killer clue. When they arrive, they will be rigged with special infrared cameras and sent out into the darkness, completely alone.
Oh God.
No more, please. Oh, no, God. Oh, fucking hell!
Right then, where are you?
It's the boomerang.
Oh no, you're not going home yet.
It was absolutely horrendous. There's organs dripping, blood, hooks, necks, everything you can think of. If you anybody think they're going to walk out of here with a cash prize and not get scarred for life, think again.
Next week on The Murder Game, Felicity's revelations about the dead baby provide another twist in the plot. Two investigators face a disturbing ordeal when they're called out at night to protect Tina Wells. And tension mounts at HQ as Richard clashes with the new lead investigator.
Doesn't know what's going on in the incident room, doesn't know what's going on with the inquiry.
For more from Investigation HQ, turn to BBC Three now. Digital viewers press red to play The Murder Game Interactive. See the killer's clue brought back by Andrew and see if you can solve the case.